I don't know, but maybe one person that might go to heaven if it was true. People have no knowledge of what they believe in. It's truly mind-boggling. So this is the reason why Jesus wanted the disciples and apostles spread the message. That was their job. That was what everybody was to do. So I understand what you're saying, but so first of all, many people that you and I would think would be going to hell will probably be going to heaven. But there will be more people going to hell. Because most people think that they're good. They do. Most people think, no, I'm a good person. But, yeah, no, see, anything we do, like whether it's, helping someone, there's usually an ulterior motive. Okay, usually if you have enough insight, you can say, yeah, but once you're walking with God, really walking with God, then anything you do to help somebody else, that's truly coming from God. It's really not you, because when we do it, it's really more, it goes back to the days, when the church was trying to sell tickets into heaven to the wealthy. Like, if you give us enough money, you'll have a ticket straight into heaven. Yeah, and well, that's not going to fly. Jesus said it would be the hardest for the wealthy to get into heaven. And why? Because of the one wealthy man that came to Jesus and said, I'll do anything you ask me to do. I just want to make sure I'm saved. And he said, then give up your wealth. And he wouldn't do it. So the people you'd least expect would probably be getting into heaven. And the people you'd least expect are going to hell, probably. In many cases, but there is more going to hell. But that's the reason, the whole point to spreading the word, because it says it has to, all that there has to be, that word has to be available to everybody everywhere, or at least it has to be known of. It doesn't mean you have to pick it up and read it. I mean, it would be if you did, but be good. But it has to have been reached, every corner of the world, and it pretty much has at this point, especially with the internet. But even without the internet, you have King James the First, even though he gets this bad rap all the time. One of the biggest great things he did was that it's the King James Version that is the most printed everywhere. The Bible itself is I believe it's the most printed book still. So even though people say in, I don't know, Nigeria or wherever you want to, Haiti or Australia, take your pick, all the way around the world, maybe they at least know of the Bible. So it's there. They may not want to follow it, and God's not looking for perfection here. It's interesting. The other day I was listening to Glenn Beck, and I've made myself, what I think of Glenn Beck, and he said AI is going to help people know their purpose, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he said, and AI is going to be able to answer the age-old question that we've all asked. What is the purpose to all this? And I thought, and he's a Christian? Because it's really, this world tells you it's all about your dreams. And look, I'm not trying to say it's not, but really, it's very simple. What your purpose here is, every Christian should know this, is to, try to be an example of Jesus. And not an outward, arrogant, example of it. No, but just not where you're getting, praise or anything like that, for none of that. Just that you're really trying to walk the walk. That's what everybody's purpose is. But this world tells you it's all about your dreams, and God's not against you having your dreams. But again, God's vision is He wants you to do what you're supposed to do here, which is basically carry His word. This is why these preachers that go door to door and just annoy people, that doesn't do any good. It's very simple. Just be an example of Christ. Not in an outward way so that you look like a Pharisee or a Sadducee, where it's like it's so important for you to look so godly. No, you just, you do things. You don't tell people about it. And you just, and all that stuff, when you're walking with God, it really comes from God when you do it. It does. So that's what everybody's everybody's purpose here in this life is. Now, many people don't like that, and they want way more than that. And I'm not saying God has issue with that, but that's when the whole money thing becomes a problem too. Because literally, money is the root of all evil, because not because of the paper money or the gold, but because people will sacrifice morals and walking with God, and this world will help you do it. This world will help you fit God into a planner instead of making God the priority, because you'll put your work as the priority. And that's okay. God knows. I mean, I'm not trying to say God wants everybody to go giving up their money, okay? But you have to incorporate it. So, like, there's a lot of jobs I've hated, and I said this recently, and so you have to look at when you're at a job you hate, and it's so hard, especially when it's a job you're micromanaged at, which is everything they want to bring in now, is that you're doing it for God. And that's how you have to look at it. It's not an easy road, but the true dream that God wants you to have, you will have in his kingdom. You will. He'll give it to you. He does. He did it with Job. Job went through so much hell. I mean, that was a literal game. The devil and God were going back, but God knew that Job could handle it, even though I don't. But he gave him everything back. That was the message of that story. You will get everything back and more. But you got to finish this game. And this world's going to tell you the game's all about you living your best life. You are manifesting, your dream world. Yeah. And God's saying, okay, just keep going, stay away from the manifestors and get back on the road where what your purpose is to work for God. So God knows you're going to work for an employer, knows, but that ultimately you're working for God, which is why Jesus said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. That's the way it is here in this world. I know who runs it. Okay, so that you're living in this jungle, but I want you to work for me. My word is what the priority is, because you're working towards that big dream kingdom. That should be what's more important. But this world loves to twist everything and loves to get you to be like, well, it's about my dreams and what's my purpose in life and what are we doing here? Well, it's very simple. Every Christian should know what we're doing here. We're here to fulfill God's, what God wants us to do, which is to be an example of him in the world, so that may spread to others. Going door to door, standing on a street corner, screaming it to everybody is not being an example of Jesus. You could say it is, but it really just annoys people, so it really works in the reverse. But actually just trying to be an example, I mean just being an example of it, not in some holy way, but just in a selfless way. That's what our purpose here is. Now, nobody in this world would likely like that answer, but that is the truth. So for Glenn Beck or anybody to say, AI is going to let you know what your purpose is, it's like, well, if you're a Christian, you should already know what your purpose is. But this world wants to tell you you have a purpose. Yeah. And you do. You do have a purpose. And that's the reason why you have to go through the jungle and walk as best you can with God so that you can get into the kingdom and have your dream. It's really, you get your crown. God will be giving a lot of crowns out. So that's what you work for. But this world wants to tell you it's all about everything else. So I understand what you're saying, but God will judge by the heart. At the end of the day, he'll judge by the heart. And most people think they have a good heart because, they gave to a charity or they did that. But truly, when God changes your heart and it's not a heart of stone anymore, then the good works that come from that is really coming from God. So you can't fake it. But in the end, God will judge right.